Let's drop the illusion. There is a formula. Yes, a powerful, mystical, unstoppable formula to unlock abundance. But here's the secret. It cannot be found. It must be spoken. We live in a world where most people chase luck. Not knowing luck is only the shadow of divine law. And that law is activated the moment you say what you want with faith, fire, and full surrender. You want to win the lottery. Then start acting like the universe already chose your numbers. Say this with me. Did you know that every single word you speak is alive? Yes, alive. Words are not just sounds. They are containers of energy, frequencies, and unseen forces that shape your reality moment by moment. The moment you speak, you launch vibrations into the universe that cannot return void. Isn't that powerful? Most people talk without thinking and then wonder why their lives feel like chaos. They speak of lack, struggle, and failure, then complain that nothing ever changes. But how can it change if the only seeds being planted are words of defeat? You see, words are not just communication tools. They are creation tools. When you say something, you don't just describe your life. You prescribe your life. That's right. Your word is like a wand. It casts spells, whether of prosperity or poverty, love or loss, health or harm. Think of it like this. The words you speak are seeds. Your mind is the soil. Your emotion is the water. And your faith is the sunlight. Say something long enough, believe it deeply enough, and it must grow. It has no choice. That's not magic hits law. Now here's the mystery. This power works whether you know it or not. Whether you're building or destroying, it works. That's why people who constantly say, I never win anything, or money always slips through my fingers, keep experiencing that reality. Their word is the blueprint, and the universe obeys without question. No argument, no opinion, just obedience to vibration. Ask yourself, what have I been planting with my mouth? Have you been saying things like, I can't afford that, I'll probably never be rich, my luck is always bad? If so, don't be shocked when life matches that script. You didn't just say it, you summoned it. You called it forward with emotion and repetition. You gave it life, but here's the miracle. Just as you spoke struggle, you can now speak success. You can choose words that uplift, ignite, and transform. You can use your tongue to design a new destiny. Why not declare, money flows to me easily and often. I am worthy of extraordinary wealth. Divine fortune seeks me every day. Say those words with feeling. Say them until you feel the shift in your spirit, because the word without emotion is like a seed without water. It goes nowhere. But the word spoken with passion, that's creative power unleashed. And don't worry if your outer world hasn't caught up yet. The results always lag behind the spoken word. First comes the word, then the work, then the witness. That's the divine order. Speak it, believe it, live like it's already yours, and watch your reality catch up with your declaration. So why do some people speak good things and still struggle? Because they don't believe what they say. They speak abundance but feel doubt. They declare success but fear loss. You can't fake the frequency. The spoken word must align with the inner belief for the magic to happen. It's not just what you say, it's what you mean when you say it. And when your word and your belief finally unite, that's when mountains move. That's when things shift overnight. That's when the lottery ticket finds your hand, not because of luck, but because you commanded it through spiritual law. Let me tell you something powerful. The word is the first act of manifestation. Nothing comes without it, not in the spirit, not in the natural. Even in ancient wisdom, the beginning was the word. Why? Because the word carries the original spark of creation, and that same spark is in you. You were never meant to beg for abundance. You were meant to speak it into existence. Don't wait for signs. Be the sign. Don't wait for permission. Give it to yourself. Say what you want, not what you fear. Speak blessings, not burdens. Let your words paint the future you dare to believe in. So go ahead. Use your voice. Use your power. Speak wealth. Speak love. Speak victory. Say it until the atmosphere shifts. Say it until your mind accepts it. Say it until the invisible becomes visible. Why? Because your word is not just sound. It is the force that sets destiny in motion. Say it, and so it shall be. What if I told you the greatest power you possess isn't outside of you, it's within your mind? That's right, your imagination is not a child's plaything. It's the doorway to your divine inheritance. It's the invisible brush that paints your future before it arrives. People underestimate imagination. They think it's fantasy, daydream, or delusion. But what they don't realize is this: your imagination is your preview of life's coming attractions. If you can't picture it, how can you prepare for it? If you can't see the win, how can you receive the win? Every great inventor, artist, builder, and miracle worker began with a picture in the mind. It didn't come from logic. It didn't come from facts. It came from the boldness to see the unseen and believe it anyway. Let's make this real. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself holding that winning ticket. Feel it in your hands. Feel the paper, the numbers, the thrill. Can you hear the announcer calling your name? Can you see your bank account light up? Can you feel that moment when your life changes forever? That's not just a fantasy. That's a spiritual prototype. And the clearer you see it, the faster it comes. Because when you imagine something vividly, you create an energetic mold in the unseen realm, and life begins filling it in with substance. But here's the part most people miss. Imagination is not passive. It's not wishful thinking. It's active creation. Every time you revisit that vision and feel it more deeply, you're charging it like a magnet. You're turning thoughts into things. You're calling the unseen into the seen. What's the difference between a daydreamer and a manifester? Emotion and repetition. The daydreamer thinks once and lets it fade. The manifester sees it, feels it, believes it, and returns to it daily like a sacred ritual. That's the secret. That's the formula behind every overnight success. The world can't explain. If you want to win the lottery, you've got to win it in your mind first. See yourself smiling. See yourself blessing others. See yourself debt-free, stress-free, and living fully. Why? Because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It just responds to what's repeated. Now some will say, isn't that lying to myself? No. It's telling the truth before it becomes visible. It's calling the future into the now. Faith isn't waiting until it's seen to believe it. It's believing it so deeply that it must become seen. Do you know why so many people stay stuck? Because they only imagine what they fear, not what they desire. They rehearse rejection. They picture failure. They expect loss. And guess what? The subconscious delivers what it's been shown. Imagination is a genie that doesn't judge, it simply creates what you command. So, what are you picturing daily? Are you visualizing wealth, or are you preparing for disappointment? Are you designing abundance or replaying anxiety? Your mind is a movie screen, and the universe watches closely. Show it a powerful, beautiful, abundant film, and watch it begin to match the scenes. You don't need to know how it will happen. Imagination is not about the method, it's about the energy. Leave the how to the divine. You just focus on the what, the why, and the vision. Your job is to hold the image. The universe's job is to orchestrate the outcome. Every single time you sit quietly and imagine the life you desire, you are programming your inner GPS toward it. The more real it feels, the more real it becomes. Isn't that astonishing? And yes, resistance will come. Doubt will whisper, it's silly. Reality will shout, look at your current bank account. But you must ignore that noise. Because the spiritual eye sees beyond circumstances. You are not ruled by facts. You are ruled by truth. And truth says, whatever you can see in the spirit, you can hold in the hand. So today, I urge you, make time to imagine on purpose. Not once, but daily. Not lightly, but deeply. Don't wait until your world changes to see it. See it until your world changes. The gate is open. Your vision is the key. Walk through it now and don't look back. Faith isn't hope. Faith isn't a wish. Faith is substance. The invisible raw material that builds the visible world. You don't wait to have faith after something happens. You use faith to make it happen. Do you feel that? That's power most people never tap into. Let me ask you something. How do you expect to receive something you don't believe in? How can the universe deliver the package if your door is closed in doubt? Faith is the open door. Faith is the signal. Faith is the magnet that draws the impossible right into your hands. Now listen closely, because this is where the shift happens. You don't get what you want. You get what you believe. Wanting alone is weak. It's scattered energy, but belief, oh, belief is focused. Belief is a force that moves mountains, parts seas, and unlocks gates that logic said were forever sealed. Faith speaks before the evidence. Faith celebrates before the win. Faith doesn't ask, how will this work? It declares, it's already working out for me. When you say, I am a lottery winner, and your whole spirit agrees, not just your lips, but your soul, then things begin to shift. Doors you didn't even know existed swing open. Numbers align, events organize, but all of it starts with that inner knowing. This is already mine by divine right. Most people get tripped up here. They say the right words, but inside, fear, doubt, anxiety, that inner wobble cancels the outer declaration. Why? Because the universe responds to vibration, not vocabulary. You can say abundance all day, but if your energy screams lack, nothing moves. So what do? You train yourself in faith. You exercise it. You grow it like a muscle. You don't just affirm once and walk away. You stay with it. You return to it daily. You repeat it when it feels real, and you declare it even louder when it doesn't. When fear knocks, faith answers. When delay shows up, faith says, it's already on the way. When circumstances look the opposite of what you desire, faith leans in and says, this is just the setup for something greater. Do you know what makes faith so electric? It doesn't need a reason, it becomes the reason. It doesn't wait for proof, it becomes the proof. Faith doesn't bow to reality, it bends reality to match its vision. That's why spiritual law says, believe that you have received and it shall be yours. Not wish, not beg, believe. Do you see the power in that? You have to walk like it, talk like it, move like it, long before anyone else sees it. And that's what makes it manifest. People often ask, but what if it doesn't happen? That's the voice of doubt trying to disqualify your destiny. You silence it by anchoring in truth. I don't chase, I align, I don't hope, I know. My faith is the proof it is done. Faith is not blind. It sees more than the physical eyes ever will. It sees the realm of the invisible, the energetic blueprint of all things to come. It walks through closed doors because it knows they're already open on another plane. You must get this deep in your bones. Faith is how you withdraw from the spiritual bank. Without it, the vault stays shut. But the moment you believe with your whole being, you unlock divine access. Things start to coincidentally happen. That winning ticket randomly ends up in your hand, but you know better. It was faith all along. And here's something even more powerful. Faith doesn't just change outcomes. It changes you. It lifts your vibration. It clears your mind. It strengthens your voice. You become a magnet for blessings because you're no longer begging. You're expecting. There's a sacred boldness that rises in someone full of faith. You stop asking, what if it fails, and start declaring, what if it works beyond anything I imagined? So when you speak your affirmations, don't mumble, declare. Don't whisper, prophecy. Feel it surge through your veins. Speak like a co-creator, not a victim. Walk through this world like your prayers are already answered, because in the spiritual realm they are. Faith is not just a feeling. It's not a Sunday thought. It's a daily practice. It's the very substance of the wealth, success, and miracles you're reaching for. Say it, mean it, live it, because when your belief becomes unshakable, the world becomes undeniable. Why is it that when we ask, believe, and speak with power, things don't always happen instantly? Why do delays show up? Why does it seem like the door is closed, even when your faith is full and your vision is clear? Here's the truth that will change how you see everything. Divine timing is not denial. Delay does not mean rejection. A not yet is not a no. The universe isn't ignoring you. It's orchestrating everything in perfect alignment. You see, when you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every hour and panic when it hasn't bloomed. You water it. You protect it. You trust the process. Why? Because you know growth takes time. You understand that the roots are forming even when the soil looks empty. So why do we doubt when it comes to our manifestations? Why do we panic when we don't see results right away? Because we're trained to worship the clock, not the process. But spirit doesn't work on your schedule. It works on the right schedule. You might think you're ready, but sometimes your blessing is still baking. Sometimes the people, places, and divine pieces aren't in position yet. Sometimes you need to grow into the capacity to handle what you've asked for. Would you give the keys to a luxury car to someone who's never learned to drive? No, not because you don't love them, but because you love them too much to let them crash. That's how divine timing works. It's protective, it's wise, it's rooted in a perspective far bigger than what you can see right now. So don't let silence shake your confidence. Don't let time scare you. Time is not the enemy, it's the incubator. It's the sacred space between intention and manifestation. And if you misuse it with worry, fear, and frustration, you delay your own blessing. What if, instead of asking, "Why is it taking so long?" you asked, "What is being prepared for me right now?" Doesn't that feel different? Because something is being prepared, that winning lottery ticket, it might be printing in the exact moment you're reading this. That break, through opportunity, it's on the other side of someone else's yes, someone who needed a little more time to say it. Everything is connected. Everything is precise. Your delay isn't empty. It's loaded with divine intelligence. And here's the key. How you act in the waiting season reveals what you're really aligned with. If you stay in gratitude, you're in faith. If you keep affirming, you're in power. But if you collapse into frustration, that's resistance. And resistance builds walls where there should be open gates. The delay isn't testing the universe. It's revealing you. Are you still declaring abundance when your wallet feels empty? Are you still saying, "It's already mine," when nothing around you looks different? That's the spiritual gold. That's when your words have the most weight. The unseen world doesn't respond to panic. It responds to peace. It responds to confidence. When you can look at a delay and say, "This pause has purpose," the energy around you shifts. And sometimes, the timing isn't about the thing. It's about you becoming the version of yourself who can truly receive it. The version of you who's not desperate, not afraid, not clinging to outcomes. The version who trusts, flows, and expects the best, even in silence. That's spiritual maturity. That's divine trust. And that trust is magnetic. Do you know how many miracles you've already called into motion that are just waiting for the right moment to appear? Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean there isn't momentum. The universe doesn't forget. Spirit doesn't misplace your desire. Your request has already been received, and it's been stamped with one word: delivered. The only part that hasn't shown up yet is the date, but it's coming. So say this: my blessing is on divine schedule. I don't chase, I align. I don't force, I flow. I trust what's mine cannot miss me. That's not denial. That's deep trust. That's surrender without shrinking. You must hold the vision. Even when the clock ticks louder than your faith, you must keep speaking, especially when it feels foolish, because delay is the echo before manifestation. It's the breath before birth, and when it finally comes, you'll understand why the wait was sacred, why the path had to curve, why the silence was full of strategy. Divine timing isn't working against you. It's setting you up for more than you imagined. Hold steady. It's not denial. It's divine design. If you only knew what gratitude could unlock, you'd never go a day without it. Gratitude isn't just a nice gesture. It's not some polite habit or a shallow thank you. It is a spiritual frequency, a signal to the universe that says, "I am ready. I am aligned. I am already blessed." You might be praying, affirming, visualizing, but if you're not feeling grateful right now, then your soil isn't ready for the harvest. Why? Because gratitude is preparation. Gratitude is permission. It's spiritual readiness that says, I'm not waiting to be happy. I'm happy because I know it's mine. Most people wait until the miracle shows up before they celebrate. But that's backwards. That's conditional faith. That's spiritual hesitation. True power is when you say, "Thank you, universe," before you see a single result. That's not denial. That's alignment. Gratitude is the vibration of receivership. It means you're living as if it's already done. It says, even though I don't see it yet, I know it's arriving, and I'm preparing room for it right now. Isn't that powerful? Want to attract wealth? Be grateful for the money already in your life, even if it's just one coin in your pocket. Speak to it like it's sacred. Treat it like it's growing, because energy multiplies where attention flows, and gratitude is the most fertile ground of all. People often say, I'll be thankful when I win the lottery. But here's the truth. You won't win until you become thankful for what you already have. The universe does not reward lack-minded energy. It responds to abundance energy, no matter how small the starting point looks. Can you be thankful for the lessons, even when life feels hard? Can you celebrate the unseen progress, even when it's quiet? That's the test, because anyone can give thanks when the blessing is in their hand. But the one who gives thanks before it shows up, that's the one who moves spiritual mountains. Gratitude is a multiplier, a magnifier, a supernatural accelerator. It doesn't just make you feel good, it draws good to you. You start seeing more things to appreciate, more signs of progress, more open doors, more unexpected favor. Why? Because gratitude expands your vision. It clears the fog of fear and tunes your heart to divine timing. When you're grateful, you stop begging and start receiving. When you're grateful, you stop doubting and start trusting. When you're grateful, your language changes. You go from "why is this happening to me?" to "what is this teaching me?" You go from "I hope it happens someday" to "thank you, it's already done." And that shift, that's the gateway to miracles. So how do you use this daily? Start every morning with a declaration, not of what you lack, but of what you love. Say, thank you for the breath in my lungs. Thank you for the lessons in the waiting. Thank you for the prosperity flowing to me, even now. Feel it in your bones. Don't just list blessings. Immerse yourself in them. Make your gratitude emotional, not mechanical. Because when your heart vibrates with thankfulness, the universe rushes to match that frequency. Gratitude isn't passive, it's magnetic. It opens your hands, lifts your spirit, and creates a flow of energy where resistance once lived. Resistance says, I'm frustrated, it's not here yet. Gratitude says, I'm ready because I already feel it arriving. Even science is catching up. Studies prove that people who practice gratitude daily experience more joy, deeper sleep, better relationships, and yes, even more wealth. Why? Because the mind starts focusing on opportunity instead of lack, on peace instead of pressure. And wherever focus goes, energy flows. What if I told you that the miracle you're waiting for is already hovering near your field, but it can't land until you show appreciation for the airstrip? That's what your gratitude does. It lights up the runway. It clears the storm clouds. It invites the blessing to come home to you. So stop waiting for your big moment. To give thanks, make gratitude your lifestyle, not just a reaction. Say thank you when you rise, thank you as you walk, thank you when it's hard, thank you when it's silent. That's how you become an open vessel, a receiver of divine favor. And when you combine gratitude with expectation, that's when the miracles flood in. That's when the doors swing open. That's when the winning ticket shows up in your hand, and you're not even surprised because your spirit already said, thank you. And the universe replied, you're welcome. Everyone's out there hunting for some mystical, complicated formula to unlock success, to attract wealth, to win the lottery, to finally feel like they've arrived. But here's the truth no one tells you. You're not supposed to find the formulae. You're supposed to say it. Yes, you're the living key. The formula is not hidden in a book, not buried in a website, not guarded by some gatekeeper. It is already within your mouth, waiting for you to activate it. We've been trained to chase. Chase the next trick. Chase the perfect method. Chase the lucky charm. But manifestation doesn't respond to chasing. It responds to declaring, to alignment. It's not about seeking in desperation. It's about speaking in authority. Most people don't realize this. Your words are instructions to the universe, not suggestions, not questions, instructions. When you speak with intention, faith, and clarity, you're not asking for what you want. You're commanding your reality to shift. That's power, that's law. You don't need to beg. You don't need to whisper and wonder, am I doing it right? The only question that matters is, am I declaring the truth or the fear? Because what you say over and over becomes the code your life runs on. People say, I'm waiting for the sign, waiting for the strategy, waiting for the secret. But don't you see? You are the strategy. Your voice is the secret. The winning formula isn't some phrase you stumble upon, it's the pattern you create when you speak your truth consistently, fiercely, and without apology. Say it loud, I am wealth, I am ready to receive. The lottery is mine by divine right. I attract outrageous fortune every day. Don't say it because you heard someone else say it. Say it because you've decided it's true. That's when the atmosphere shifts. That's when coincidences show up that aren't coincidences at all. They're confirmations. And don't wait for your emotions to catch up. Speak it anyway. Why? Because spoken words reprogram your emotions. They're not just reflections of belief. They are builders of belief. When you repeat something long enough, your subconscious stops questioning it and starts creating it. This is why affirmations work. Not because they're magic words, but because you're the magician. The power isn't in the phrase, it's in your faith, fueled repetition. Every time you speak abundance, you override the scarcity loop. Every time you say, I win, you delete the script that says, I lose. Here's what most people get wrong. They think they need to earn the right to speak like a winner, as if they have to struggle for 10 more years before they finally say, I'm rich. But no, the formula works in reverse. You speak it first, you believe it first, you embody it first, and then life adjusts to your command. You don't manifest what you deserve. You manifest what you're willing to declare and align with. What you speak repeatedly, confidently, becomes law in your reality. But here's the catch. You can't say it once and then contradict it for the rest of the day. You can't declare wealth in the morning and complain about bills all afternoon. That's spiritual whiplash. The formula needs consistency to work. Just like a seed needs water every day, not once a week. The spoken word, when fused with belief, is the most powerful force you have. That's why ancient wisdom has always said, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Do you feel that? That's not poetic, it's literal. What you're speaking, you're seeding. What you repeat, you release into form. So why are you still searching for permission, for proof, for a guru to give you the secret? You've had it all along. It's been hiding in plain sight, in your voice, in your spirit, in your boldness to say what others only think. The most successful people aren't always the smartest or luckiest or most qualified, but they are often the ones who say, this is mine, before anyone else dares to believe it. That's the formula. The decision to speak as if the result is already done. Say it again, say it louder, say it like the universe is listening, because it is. The formula is not outside you. It's not something you find. It's something you say over and over until the world can't help but echo it back.